Hi, my name's Jules from I Like Me. This YouTube channel has been created to discuss the healing modalities that are potentially not mainstream and what would be considered alternative. The hope of this channel is to spread awareness around some of the other different healing modalities that are out there that are more natural and holistic, taking in our mind, body and soul as a whole, rather than just looking at one area of the body or one area of the mind. So this is a series of videos, and today I have Andrew from Resound with me. Hi, Andrew.
Hello, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Trying to keep cool. How are you?
Yeah, same. Yeah, it's another hot day, but it's fine. I try not to complain.
No, exactly. Well, we do like to do that, don't we, about the weather and whatnot.
We do.
So today, Andrew and I are going to discuss all things sound frequency and resonance related, because Andrew is very much involved in a business that looks at gong immersions, right, for people, whether
That's
it's
right.
either
Yep.
individual or group sessions. So just going to dive straight in as we would with an immersion. What is
Yep.
gong immersion for you?
Yeah, so I like to call it a gong immersion sound bath. So, because a lot of people do gong baths, which is just the gongs, and a lot of people do sound baths, which is very much your crystal balls and drums. Whereas I was just drawn to bringing the two together. I really wanted the crystal balls and the drums, and I wanted the gong. So I just called it a gong immersion sound bath.
Hmm.
So generally, it's sort of really a deeply immersive meditative experience that you come into. It's an opportunity, in a nutshell, for you to just come, lay down, relax, bring your mat, bring your pillow, bring your eye mask, and just have a rest for a moment whilst I play music, singing bowls, drums, gong, and it just allows you to just release that tension, just let go, and take some time for yourself. Is
Mm.
what I would say it is.
That sounds beautiful. So it's a mixture of things, which, I mean, the importance of some of these modalities, especially with sound, just to help make people aware if they're not already aware on the watching the video. A lot of us are walking around with quite heightened central nervous systems because of stress and fear-based or, survival strategies that we've adopted from childbirth and kind of carry these survival strategies around with us, which then also impact our central nervous system, which can affect our clarity, our access to deeper wisdom, our access to deeper healing.
Yeah,
So when you sort of talk about this immersion, it's like an immersion into something which is beyond that, an opportunity to switch off from the stresses and connect more to ourselves, really, and what matters to us, which is
absolutely.
really
Yeah, my
beautiful.
tagline is sort of rest, rest, come and rest. It will reset your energies, it will reset your body,
Yeah.
and then you can go back out into the world, take up space, make some noise, and be your authentic self, really, is my hope for people, is that and it's good to come back and then do it all over again. Rest, reset, go. Rest, reset, go.
Yeah, yeah. You
Just
should
make
have a
sure you're doing
t-shirt with
that.
that.
I know I should, yeah, a little tagline, rest,
Gong
reset,
Bath.
go. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like to call it self-care either. But sometimes a lot of people say, "Oh, and do some self-care." But someone said to me just the other day when I did one, she said, "I didn't feel like I was doing self-care. I felt like you were taking care of me."
Mm.
And she said that was nice because I do so much self-care. It was nice for me to think someone's taking care of me. Someone's putting a
Mm.
blanket on me, give me an eye pillow, cup of tea afterwards. And I
Mm.
quite liked that because we do
Yeah.
talk a lot about self-care, but if you're looking at your childhood traumas and things, it's all about being a child, someone's taking care of you all the time, your mum, your dad, your parent, guardian, whoever it
Mm.
is. And
Mm.
it's nice to feel that as an adult, that someone's taking care of you as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I'm also involved in sound journeys, as you know, but just using sort of crystal bowls. And
Yeah.
when I went to the hall recently to set it up, it's like a sort of Freudian slip. I kind of welcomed people in. I said, "Welcome to the womb," and I meant to say room. I said, "Oh, it's
Ah,
womb room," and it became this thing. And I just sort of taken in my mind to this space of a cocoon, a bit like the
yeah,
immersion. It feels like that kind of cocoon where
yeah,
whatever it is that's going on can just be dropped. And then
absolutely.
somebody can, give you that blanket and tuck you in. And as a child, we do crave that if we haven't had it. And if we have had it, we
Yeah,
want it more as an adult. And
yeah,
it's a safe
absolutely.
space, isn't it? To just be,
Exactly.
to
What I
be.
always say to people at the start. I always say this is a safe space for you to let go, just
Mm,
so they know that it's safe for them to just relax and just be.
mm. Yeah, it's really important. It's really important because,
Mm.
you know, okay, so what is it then that the gongs can do and sound and in this way and frequency can do to help take us into that space that's beyond our stresses? How does that work? Do you care to discuss that a little?
Yeah. So if we're looking at like frequency, obviously on the scientific side of it, frequency is just how many vibrations you're getting per second, and that can go from a really deep, low pitch, which is where I sort of sit with my frequencies. I love that deep tone, a very healing, grounding tone, and it can
Mm,
go up to very high pitches. And the gong, for me especially, can just reach all of those levels. It can go very, very deep, and it can go very, very high. And of course, you have your singing bowls that can do all of those as well.
mm,
And yeah, for frequency, if you're looking at resonance and things like that as well, everything has its own natural vibration. And when people are stressed and tired and things in their body may go out of vibration, out of their natural sync and come into a sound bath, the gong and the instruments can help resonate with that and put it back onto the level where it needs to be and help with your healing. It can help on the physical level. It
mm,
can help with muscles and organs and relaxing those and bringing those back into frequency. It can help on the energetic level if you are looking at like chakras. It can help with healing and unblocking those as well. And again, like we talked about, emotional side as well. People are feeling stuck emotions in their body.
mm,
It can help with those frequencies too.
mm, mm. Yeah, because we don't actually know what we're carrying on a day-to-day basis, and sometimes being in that sort of deeper space of awareness can just bring that into fruition. So, that leads me to sort of think about the theta brainwave state, and I love working in that state. The clients that I work with in hypnotherapy, it's very much about going into that space.
Yeah.
And I've noticed with the sound journeys that it's a similar thing. They're kind of settling into this. You're sort of lying there still aware, but there's something much deeper at play, isn't there, in terms of like the state of being that your mind is in or the state that you're in, your body's your restful state.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
on
it's
that
the
note, have you
same.
ever had any like bizarre experiences or, because it's all healing, isn't it? But has there ever been any sort of magical moments in your journeys that you've delivered when people have been in that sort of theta brainwave state that you can recall?
Some people don't like to share what they've gone through in their time, but those people that have shared with me, people do have lots of different experiences, like you say. Some of them are very physical. So my friend has a stomach issue, and she visits someone who sort of helps her with that, like a chiropractor, and she gets a funny warm feeling in her stomach when he's doing that. And then when she had the sound bath, she got the exact same feeling in the stomach area when I was doing the gong. So it's interesting how
Mm,
she felt the healing that she receives from other modalities as well.
mm,
And people say some people have visions. I have a friend that often apparently goes to like Egyptian pyramids and spends time there and sees ancestors. So yeah, people do have visions, not often. I think it's the sort of thing that you need to have an intention to have a vision. Sometimes it might just happen, but sometimes people do intend to that, or they've done it for such a long time. It's just where their brain takes them to. But
mm,
yeah, the gong, it does, like, we spend most of our days in that beta brainwave, that busy, busy, busy mindset. And like we talked about resonance, the brain has its own frequencies and brainwaves, and the gong can slow those down and
mm.
bring you into that theta, that relaxed, almost daydream-like stage where the chatter can just stop for a little bit, and the subconscious mind can bring up what it needs to, and the body can heal. So yeah, it does happen.
Yeah.
And a lot of people fall asleep, and that's fine too, so because they need that. But yeah, a lot of people do drift in and out of that sleep theta daydream state, and it's
Mm,
the best place to be when you're having a
mm.
sound bath.
Yeah, it is because it's very relaxing and calming, and it's almost like that sort of dream space bit where you're lying in bed and you just sort of drift off, but you're kind of still aware of the physicalities of the
Hmm.
world, and your brain still might be processing the day, but it's just something very still. One of my friends discussed after the sound journey before I did, that because there was a little bit of running water at some points, just as background noise whilst other things were going on. And she said, "Do you know what?" She said at one point, she said, "I just thought I was water." No, no, like, not in a scary way, but just had no
Yeah,
conception
no.
of being in a physical body and confined. She was just like, I was just water, like really fluid and, Yeah. I mean, imagine
Yeah,
that.
it's funny,
Like,
isn't it? People have such opposite dualistic experiences. Some people feel very fluid, some people feel very solid, some
mm,
people feel like they're levitating, some people feel like they're being weighed down in a nice way, like held to the ground. And people have very opposite experiences in the same sound bath, but
mm.
it's unique to you and it's what you need at the time.
That's what I love about it because it's not like a talking therapy or, there's no preconceived ideas, certainly from my side, about how things should go. And
No.
you just know that each person's unique experience is exactly what they need at that point to be able to just get back into, the roles that we have and to carry on with, decisions and things that they want to do. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely.
So what drew you to this soundscaping facilitating journey? Like, would you care to share a bit about
Yeah,
that?
it's interesting, really. Like, if I look back on it, I've been doing this, not particularly sound therapy, but I used to be a teenager going to the magic shops, buying the witchcraft books and the crystals and the tarot cards. It's always been my area of spirituality. I've always loved it. And then it was last year I started drinking a lot of cacao. So that became something I really enjoyed, and I was doing it every day. And I did start to feel a bit more awakened, a bit more interested, and I was spotting more synchronicities and books appearing in my life that I just started reading. And then it was sort of the November time, I went to see one of my friends who does Reiki.
Mhm.
And I just went for a general sort of healing session with her. And she gets like video images in her mind of something happening. And she saw me walking through the woods with my backpack on, because I've always got a backpack, and sort of chopping my way through. And I got to the end, and then this beam of light was shining down. And she just said, "You're going to do something next year where you're stepping into your light and sort of helping other people." And I had no intention at the time of doing that. So then my mind started racing. Oh, what could that be? And because I'd done tarot cards for so long, I kind of thought maybe I'd do tarot cards, but didn't really want to. And then, yeah, I did have a Gong Bath last year and I really enjoyed it. And then I just thought, oh, maybe sound healing's the thing. And then as I started thinking more about it, I started seeing more about it. And I realized when I'd have gone through hard times, through anxiety and depression and things, I'd used Spotify to listen to music and ambient music and singing bowls to help me relax. And I never knew that that was something I enjoyed doing until I thought about it. It's weird. I never thought, oh, that's something I like, let's do it. So then, yeah, come the equinox, I got my gong training and everything started falling into space.
Falling to space. I love that.
Yeah, just sort of falling down and it just sort of appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
now we're up and running.
yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The things that often we have interwoven throughout our lives are often the things that we're really good at or that are calling us from a young age or just planting those seeds. And then we sort of
Mm,
realize, oh, actually, I've been doing this. It's like with the hypnotherapy, I realized that I've been listening to people intensely my whole life. And then at the point where they're perhaps stuck in a thought that's creating suffering, I've reframed it and said, well, what about it being this way? It could be this way, and just putting a more positive evolutionary, frame on it as opposed to victim, staying stuck in victim. And then when I did the training,
yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, I've been doing this anyway my whole life. And then now I know what it is, having a qualification to put to it or whatever.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? 'Cause I was a bit worried about holding space for other people because I've been to lots of different ceremonies where
Um,
people have held space and I've been part of the group. I've never held space before. And then I started thinking about it. And every time I go to like a party or an event, I meet people and they become like my best friend. And they'd always say, Andrew, how do you do it? You chat to someone and then the next minute they're like your best friends. And I'm like, I don't know. I must have just been holding space one to one
mm,
without knowing it. I think I just
mm,
know how to listen and I like listening. But it's
and
always been
connect.
something I
Mm.
just did. Again,
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
say, you've just been doing it and not realized.
yeah. And now you know why.
Yeah, and now I love it. At the end, we have a cup of tea and a biscuit, and I just do the little rounds and talk to everyone and see if they want to share.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
lovely.
love that bit.
Yeah, that is really powerful, like that part, because it's, the defenses are down and people are just really, they're in their own heart space and open and if you sort of sense this real sense of like sharing and softness and
Yeah.
connection. It's really beautiful. Yeah. So, in terms of working with the gongs then and facilitating the groups that you are, how do you feel you've changed? Like, what changes have you noticed within you? Because I always notice when I'm playing the bowls that, you're receiving that frequency as well, and whether you're in that sort of holding space, you're still in that space. And I just wondered whether you'd noticed any changes within you.
Yeah. One thing is I hear the gong everywhere now. If someone's banging a spoon against a bowl, I'm like, oh, that sounds like the gong. And you just hear music everywhere, which is bizarre. But you do for a couple of days afterwards. But for me, yeah, I feel like for me, it's been a lot of like shadow things coming up. I seem to have spotted a lot of myself. Like if I get angry now, I see it quicker than I used to see it. So if I get frustrated or angry or sad, I see it and I'm like, oh, and I'm able to almost detach from it a bit easier. So in that way, I'm healing in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But like anger is something I've always struggled with, not in a very aggressive, angry way, but little anger of I have little rules in my brain like people should walk on certain sides of the pavement and things like that. And when someone doesn't, I'm like, why are you on this side? But then I spot that now so much quicker, and I'm able to just let it go and realize that that's a me problem, not a them problem. And it's just, yeah. So I think it has allowed me to be quiet. But also, when you are doing those, holding that space for people, you are receiving the vibrations, but my mind is still very busy thinking what I'm going to do. What does this group need? So everyone's like, oh, are you enjoying a nice quiet gong bath? And I'm like, no, I'm feeling a lot, sensing a lot, thinking, what do I need to do next?
Yeah,
So
because it is a very intuitive space, actually.
yeah, absolutely.
It's
But yeah,
not
that's how I've
something.
changed, I think, from doing that is I seem to be awakening to my own shadow side and seeing it. So then hopefully I can bring it to the light,
Bring it out.
alchemize it and make it, yeah, make
Yeah.
myself a better person. So it'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is it, and I think we are all still going. We're all, even the facilitators. Even if I have to be really truthful, even the facilitators, if there is not 1 ounce of their work that they're still processing, I don't believe that. We're all still unraveling.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is that we've come here to unravel. Um, and
Yeah.
it's such times to be able to do it actually, and then to
And
be
I
able
like that
to.
because you can be more empathetic with the people you're with, whereas if you're an enlightened being, you'd almost beyond what everyone's going through now. You need to be sort of dealing with your own issues so you know the troubles that everyone else is going through and how they might be feeling. You can have
Yeah.
more empathy that way.
Yeah, and we're all in it together, aren't we? We're all trying
Yeah,
to make the best of our lives in it together. And what I find fascinating is when we create these sound journeys, there's an ability for people to, so it's a deep meditation as well, isn't it? Sometimes for some, not for all,
absolutely.
some people are still very much, caught in the stories and, they can take a little while to settle. But as I say, as you said, each journey is different. But there is this opportunity to sort of just observe like what's going on. Like you said, you observe the people on the wrong side of the pavement, so to speak,
Yeah,
that sort of stuff. And there is an opportunity in these sound journeys to observe that and just think, oh, didn't realize that was even at play. Do I want to keep that within me? Is it serving
absolutely.
me? Is it
That's
helping
it.
me reach my highest potential? No, I don't want that thought or behavior or feeling towards somebody when they're just being them. It's a real beautiful space to create space within yourself to
Yeah,
observe that sort of stuff.
to find out where all these funny little things come from. Because
Yeah.
it's hard to find out exactly where it came from, but I always wonder if, obviously growing up gay, I wonder if I've tried to keep myself safe. I used to cross over the road sometimes because I'd think, oh, is that person a safe person for me? I'm not sure I'm going to cross over. So maybe now I'm thinking, you need to be over there.
Yeah.
If I'm here. Maybe it's that kind of thing at play still from years and
Interesting.
years and years ago, which you think you've got over,
Yeah.
and yet it still sits somewhere in that subconscious mind.
Yeah. That subconscious mind, honestly, it's
Yeah, it
all in
still
there.
sits there. Maybe it's
And it,
coming out and we can bring it to the light and it'll be fine.
yeah. And let it dissolve, it's just, oh, it's still at play within me. Okay, can I love that part of me that
Yeah,
still believes that or feels unsafe in this scenario? Yes, I can. What happens if I love it? Oh, it's not as holding, it doesn't hold me as much.
exactly.
That's definitely part of the journey is to reach in. And it's interesting what you say about, it's a me problem, not a you problem. I do feel that we are encouraged nowadays with various, forms of media to perceive that everything is a you problem, but actually it's not. Everything is a me problem, because
Yeah,
say, for example, if I'm experiencing a problem, if we've got a situation between us, for example, and I'm the one that has a problem and you don't, how can it be a you problem? And it's not a we problem because it's just my thoughts that are creating
yeah,
the issue. So that self-reflective time, I think, is really important to
absolutely.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always think when someone finds something annoying, like I don't like those car exhausts that make those really loud sounds,
Oh yeah.
but other people love them because they've obviously paid money to put it on their car. So that's a me problem. It's me that doesn't like it.
Take them
It's
all
not a them
off.
problem. It's just subjective, isn't it?
Mm, mm. So thinking about the subconscious mind then, and you kind of had a little bit of a connection then in terms of understanding perhaps why this person on the pavement on the wrong side is an issue. Do you think then that the sound and the frequency helps to access these thoughts, and gives us a chance to identify, the memory as such from where it comes from?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've spent a lot of years meditating, probably 15 years on and off, not every day. I wish it was every day, but on and off. And from doing that, you do realize just how much the mind chatters. It just constantly chatters. What have I done in the past? Reminiscing about things you've done right, things you've done wrong, things you've enjoyed, goes to the future, planning what to do next. And very rarely is it present or quiet. And
Mm,
I think because of that, a lot of things do just stay pushed down and hidden,
mm,
and you don't get the chance to have them come up. But then when you come to a sound bath, which is meditation, only I call it a supported meditation because instead of having to watch the breath, which can be quite boring sometimes for some people, you've got all these lovely sounds around you to pay attention to, and it can help the brain waves to slow down. So then you can start processing all of that stuff rather than the mind chattering all the time.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah, for sure. In a safe space, because on the odd occasion, some things can come up in sound journeys, not repressed as such, but things you may have forgotten and whatnot, which is why it's so important to be able to hold the space in such or facilitate the space in such a way, isn't it, that
Yeah.
that people feel comfortable to be with that. So yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's not a performance, it's not an entertainment as
yeah.
such. It could be if you were to do it in that way, but for me, it's very much a space for people to come and to rest, reset, as I say, and
Mm,
just get that healing if that's what their intention is.
yeah. So what areas are you covering at the moment in terms of where you're hosting your sound bath? You're in Hertfordshire, obviously, but
Yep, so I'm in Welwyn Garden City.
hmm
So our whole space at the Quaker Meeting House, such a lovely venue. The acoustics in there are great. It's got little alcoves where the sound just changes. As I walk around my medicine drum, it sounds different wherever I am in the room, which is amazing. And the gong just vibrates off all the walls, which is great. But that's my one space at the minute. I may look for other venues and places around in the future, but we'll see how it goes. And I do it at my house as well for like one-to-ones or couples as well.
mm, mm,
I just do that here, which is really nice to hold space for like an individual person and
yeah,
make it a lot more tailored towards them.
yeah. So if somebody's new to Gong Bath, for example, would you advise group or one-to-one? Like what would be, I mean, I suppose it depends on the person, but what would you feel would be better for
I
their
would
business?
recommend group first. I'd probably recommend if they were nervous, bring a friend. That's always good. But yeah, I'd recommend the group just because then you've got a little community there and you've got people who've done it before and you've got that after community where we can all share tea and biscuits and talk. Whereas I would recommend the one-to-ones for people who want more of a specific journey, specific tailored experience.
Hmm.
So if they're not looking for healing, they're looking for creativity.
Hmm.
So they've got writer's block or something like that, and you want some more creative ideas, then we do it differently here than it would be at the sound bath. But yeah, you could do a one if you could do one-to-one if you were very nervous about being in a group, absolutely. But I'd say you having that community around you can be really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a coming together, isn't it? And an understanding that we're not needing to go through it alone, and
Yeah,
there are people that can understand and there are people that you can also just have a great bunch of fun with, actually,
Yeah,
like-minded souls, and make
absolutely.
new connections and whatnot. Yeah, it's great. So, if gongs were a language, what do you think they're trying to say? Just throwing that question in there.
What are they
Take your
trying to
time.
say?
Yeah, take your time on that one.
I think they're trying to say, stop thinking you're stuck in one place
Ooh.
and stop thinking that what you see and what you experience is the truth. I think of the gong as like a portal. Like it sort of it takes you out and it takes you into the real world, which is sound and vibration and just whatever it is. I always think if you look at a flower, I see a flower one way, another human would see it a different way, but then a fly and a dog see it totally different. The world as we see it isn't even the way it really is. So I
Mm,
think for me, the gong says, don't be so strict and in one place. Be more open and expansive. And just like
mm,
the gong resonates and grows and the volume gets bigger and bigger, hopefully your mind and your eyes get bigger and bigger and you can see more.
mm. Well, this is it. And I suppose the less we are operating from that shadow tendency, or, the unhealed parts of us, or the conditioned one, or the one that's limited by beliefs, our perception changes. The way that I perceive perception in that way is like there's, if I can use the analogy, is like when you go and get your eyes tested and they put all those little lenses in, a
Yeah.
lot of the time I feel that we are viewing through those lenses. And
Yeah.
some of them are really chunky, like the thick of a milk bottle, and some of them, can really distort the way that we perceive things. So if we're moving from a space of wounding, our perceptions of people, of ourselves, more importantly as well, actually, are very distorted, and we perhaps aren't moving in a way that, like, using your word, coming to our authentic selves.
Mm,
And then we start to see the world in the different eyes, and we might hide from it, or we might not think that we're deserving of what we're here to receive, and it does limit life. Um,
yeah.
mm,
But it's difficult though, because the ego starts stepping up and getting in the way and starts saying, hey, if you put yourself out there too much, or if you start changing too much of your paradigms and the way you see the world, we're
mm,
not going to be safe anymore. And it doesn't
mm,
like that. So it draws you back. So you're sort of pulling a little bit, coming back and
mm,
stepping away from that ego, which will always just wants to keep you safe. It's only a want, but
mm.
you need to
Yeah, yeah,
say,
it's designed for it.
I will be safe. I just need to go and do this and then I'll come back.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And I need to go and do this to prove to you that I'm going to be safe, so
That'll
that
be
you have a
safe.
positive experience to know that we can do it
Exactly.
again to be
Just
safe.
widen that comfort zone a little bit at a time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's it. I loved the book by Susan Jeffers, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And she
Mm,
says, like, the only way to get over the fear of doing something is to go and do it. You've got to feel the
mm,
fear and do it anyway. Because too
mm,
many times do we say, oh, I'll do it when I feel confident. I'll do it when, well, you don't feel confident until you go and do it. It's such a
there's the loop.
mind mess, but it's true.
Yeah, that's
But
one
the
of my
ego tries to
favorite.
stop you.
Yeah, it does. For protection, I
Mm,
get it. It's got a job to
yeah,
do, but it also can be a bit of a prison. That's one
yeah,
of my favorite sayings, and I say that to my children. They're like, "I'm scared of this." It's like, feel the fear, but go for it anyway. Like,
do it
it's
anyway.
been my philosophy. Like the stuff that I've done in this life, honestly, if I lived behind a fear, I wouldn't have been to the places that I have, and I do understand that it's limiting. It's useful, I wouldn't feel the fear of walking across the M25, for example, and then do it anyway. But you have to have
Yeah,
that perception of when to step and when not to. Yeah.
yeah. Like even doing this interview, like sharing about spirituality and things like this never came easy to me because I never had many friends in this sort of area.
Hmm.
So a lot of my friends weren't spiritual. My husband's not spiritual at all.
Hmm.
Thankfully, he allows all these lovely instruments in the house, which is good. But even talking openly about it, I've never really done that before until sort of last year as my community just massively expanded last year.
Mm.
But talking about this sort of stuff, I never really did. And I always thought, oh, can I share that? Oh, I didn't feel safe sharing how I felt and what I believed with other people because
Mm.
it can be a bit out
Yeah.
there.
Which is really isolating, isn't it? It can be
Yeah,
isolating. And
like a
that's what I
lone
would
wolf.
say, for people that are new to Gong Bath or new to alternative methods for modalities, like there's a good bunch of us out here that have kind of are in community and have, I don't know about you, but I know loads of different people. So if my crystal bowl sound bath isn't for somebody, then I know people that are doing massage and acupressure and, all these other things, because there's so much help in the
Yeah.
wing, just and support. And yeah, it can be a little nervous stepping outside of perhaps the usual group of friends that you're in. But then, what's the other side of that? A completely different life that you just don't know anything about and could be
Absolutely.
curious
And
to
like you say,
learn
there's so many modalities out there, and it's really good that there is, because you might want a sound bath for 6 months, and then you might think, okay, that's helped me with that, and I'm going to go and experience something else. Or you
from.
might find sound baths are for you, and you do it for. I met a lady last year who's done it for 16 years. She came with a roll-out mattress, she had a pillow, and she was ready to go, and I loved
Oh,
it.
love that.
So yeah, it
Mm.
might be your thing forever. It might be your thing just for a time.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no boundary to that. And what I love is realizing that people are coming into more feeling-based states currently, just what I've noticed. And making a decision in the moment to go to an event as opposed to thinking 6 months down the line, I've got to plan this, book this.
Yeah,
And that kind of gives them real hope, because if we're doing things based on how we feel, we're not in the head, we're not in the head. And I
yeah.
really, hope that continues to be a wave of movement
Yeah, the head's got its place if you're planning
on
a
the
wedding or
shoulders.
an event or something, then absolutely you need the
Yeah.
head. But other times, yeah, we need to trust our instincts more and our intuition, definitely.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, is there anything else that you want to add about the gong baths or sound journeys as a whole? Is there anything
Um,
that we haven't covered, do you feel, maybe?
just in my specific, my resound sound baths. So like I say, I use a lot of different modalities, and basically what I do is I set up my own little way of doing it. So I just naturally said, right, I'm going to help people to settle in first with the rain stick and the gentle drum of the medicine drum, and just really ground people. And I'm going to sort of lift them up with the crystal singing bowls and the chimes. And then we'll go into the gong, because the gong's quite intense. And that's like your half an hour block of the hour of
Mm,
the gong, which goes at peaks and troughs, rises you up and down. And then
mm,
I'm going to bring people back the opposite way, to bring them back down with the chimes and the singing bowls, and then back down with the drum again. And I
mhm,
just did that myself. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to make this into a little signature style. And that's my sort of way of doing it now. And then the more I read about sound therapy, the more that a lot of people have also discovered that that is the way you
mm,
should help people to settle in with that percussion, like drum beat. So
mm.
it's felt very intuitive, which is quite nice, really,
Yeah.
to feel intuitive and feel like the gong's something. I feel like I've done it before. It doesn't feel like a new instrument, because it's quite a exotic instrument in a way. You don't see many gongs,
Mm,
but as soon as it arrived and I started playing it, it just felt very intuitive, very natural.
mm. Well, this is it. And I've got a friend who does Gong Bath down in sort of South London. And I was watching him because we were at a day retreat, and I was watching him because I was kind of on the sidelines. I wasn't participating at that point. I don't think I needed it. I was quite feeling quite like restful anyway. And I was watching him, and at the end I said to him, "They're playing you." And he was like, "Absolutely." He said, "I'm
Yeah,
the instrument, actually, to be able to move in whatever the energy of that sound wants to come through." He said, "I'm the instrument." And it was just such a beautiful flip on understanding the dynamics of what comes through. And I felt that with the bowls.
yeah,
There's moments where I don't even feel like I'm playing them, and it's like, okay, this bowl wants me to do this, and this energy wants
yeah,
me to do this. And it's
absolutely.
like, oh, okay. And then you're in the
Yeah.
flow, you're in the flow, which is great.
Yeah, so I have my way of doing it. Like I said, the drum, the chimes, the balls, the gong.
Mhm.
But when I'm playing that, what I play on the drum, the beat, the rhythm, the pulse will all be determined by what I feel coming through at the time. Or
Mm,
how I play the gong, what mallets I use, if I want it to be striking, if I want it to be twinkly and high pitched, or if I want it to be deep and low.
mm.
All just comes, like you say, intuitively. You just become part of it.
Yeah, yeah, become part of the instrument. And that's the thing. I think when you're lying on a mat as well and you're going into these journeys, it's really good to be aware that because of the sound that's going on, your brain, your conscious mind will just listen to that, which means that you can drop very quickly into sort of deeper states. It does happen very quickly because it's like, yeah, your conscious mind has got something to do, which is to listen, and then the
Yeah.
rest of you can just go, oh. And that's why they're so profound, I feel like in terms of and effective in terms of what they produce, especially on a cellular
Absolutely.
level as well. Like you touched on it before about the physical tightness and the muscles and all that sort of stuff. But on a cellular level, if we're shaking up and releasing and resolving these thoughts and memories within us, like could just imagine, how people are leaving these spaces, without carrying. I often say to my children, it's like the more problems you have, it's like having a rucksack and you're putting more rocks into it, like you don't have
Yeah.
to carry them around with you, just put them down. Like, so,
Yeah.
so imagine like sort of floating out of those spaces, with the ability to be in a clearer space. I mean, who wouldn't want that, right?
I know,
Or am I
yeah.
biased?
This is why I always have tea and biscuits afterwards because people are so sort of zen and chill. I'm like, I can't let you get straight in the car and go home.
No.
We need to come back to earth and ground and
Yeah.
have a little time afterwards.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it can put you in a nice, relaxed headspace.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
You
the
want
last
to,
sound bath I did, it took about 10 minutes for everyone to even come round to be able to have a cup of, a drink or whatever.
yeah, to even
And
sit
I just
up.
remember looking around and everyone was just a bit like, beautifully, beautifully so. Like there was just nothing, like peace, peace.
Yeah, every time I finish, I always say, that's the end of the session, but stay in this space a bit longer.
Mm,
Don't rush. Don't sit up. You don't
mm.
need to. Just stay in this space. I'm gonna go and make the tea.
Yeah,
Be back
yeah.
in 5 minutes, you're fine.
Come back, they're all snoring again.
And they're all back asleep.
I did that. I fell asleep at the end of a yoga class. I think I must have gone swimming into the gym. This is a few years ago, and then went into a yoga class. And she did a meditation at the end, and I was sparko, like,
Yeah, for
and everybody had
Shavasana.
rolled up their mats. I was the last one in the room, and she just came over and was like, "Time to wake up." And I was like, "Really? Am I not at home already?" Yeah, it was just the most bizarre thing. So these deep states of healing can really occur. It's beautiful. Mm.
Absolutely. That's what they're
Oh,
there for, yeah.
yeah.
And it's so funny because when I was doing my case studies with like friends and family, just to get a lot more experience in, yeah, this their experiences for the first time ever of doing anything like this. And they were like, wow, I thought it would take a few sessions to get relaxed and into the zone, but
Mm,
first time you can go into quite a deep space.
mm, mm. Which is why sometimes it might be nice to have a bit of a chosen desire, not necessarily for what you're going to receive, but just say if there's a problem that's bothersome, and
Yep.
you're going between heart and head and you can't really figure out, the best course of action. Sometimes walking into a sound bath with, I would like to receive a solution in your mind or whatever, can be a nice addition to the healing that you offer, because sometimes, the healing can literally be coming to a decision and changing the course of your life, or coming to a decision and putting something to bed that you've been carrying for a year, or whatever the term is. So
Yeah, in the opening of my sound baths, I always invite people to think of their intention that they come with that day. It can be something as just healing, peace, calm, or something very specific if you want it to be. And
mm,
just bring that to your attention. And I would say if you haven't got an intention today, then just have the intention to rest.
mm,
And yeah, intention setting I think is really important. I do intention setting pretty much throughout the day. I always start the morning with my cacao and set that intention for the day of what I want to do or what the cacao wants from me. So I always like to have an intention for my day, whether that's just to go forward and just sort of be more open to what the universe is sending me, or whether I'm going to go out there and try and do an act of kindness for somebody. So always setting that intention I think is really important.
mm. Yeah, it's really lovely. It's almost like making that conscious choice to live how you want to live, or not necessarily just create the reality, but to be in the experience of your day rather than the stresses. Because intention setting can be really beautiful in any time of the day, like you say, and especially in journeys or for healing practices as well. So what's your favorite? Do you have like a go-to intention that you think, right, this is going to be my mantra for the year, or is it just sort of spontaneous in the moment, or?
It's in the moment, yeah. I tend to ask the cacao what it wants from me. I like to talk to Mama Cacao and ask her what does she want me to do today? what's the best for my intention for today? How
Mhm.
can I open my heart more to people and get it that way? Because if I try and think for myself what my intention is going to be, sometimes my brain comes up with too many options, and then I'm like, oh, I don't know which one's the best one. So I find it easier if I put it out there and ask what the universe, what Mama Cacao wants me to do for
Mm.
my intention for today. I find that works better for me. But
Mm.
yeah, people come to the sound bath with many intentions, like you say, for healing. Especially, I think it's really important to clarify as well what healing is, because a lot of people might come thinking, oh, I've got a really specific illness with my kidneys or something, and they want healing. But then there's a difference between healing and cure, I think, which is really important. So that it's always important to keep your medical practice going with your doctors and keep all of that going, as well as the healing journey, because it is a journey. It's not a cure. It's a constant thing when you're healing your
Mm.
body, your emotions with your hypnotherapy, your subconscious healing, that childhood traumas and all of that is a journey.
Mm.
And it's good to have that intention so that journey has keeps momentum, keeps going forward. Otherwise you can get a bit lost on that healing journey, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a really good point, actually, because, there's many things that can create a cure. So some people I speak to will often be dipping their toes in many different areas and actually healing as a whole, which then changes the course of their physiology. So I think that's a really valid point, not to kind of like just stop everything that perhaps, treatment wise that you're under until such time that the biology suggests otherwise. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, for sure. And with intention setting as well, I find like the in the morning when it's sort of relatively quiet before the house wakes up, so to speak, probably the best time that I sort of come to and sort of think, right, okay, what is it that needs to be done today? How is it that I want to be today? What do I need to shed today? How can I be more present for myself? And it just sets that kind of tone, doesn't it, for like understanding. And I realize when I go off track because I'm like, oh, where am I in alignment with what I wanted to create today? It
Yeah.
kind of brings you back in, so it creates more purposeful uh, time, I suppose, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I always like to do it in the morning. I think it's really important. Like I say, I have my cacao, I do a little bit of breath work,
Mhm.
and it just sets me up because then I know that that's the feeling I should have all day, every day. That is the feeling of that's like my reset feeling of just calm peace. So then anytime I go off, that's me that's gone off, my mind's gone off, and it's my job to bring it back. And I know that's not me. That's not I'm not normally stressed, angry, annoyed. So I need to come back to where I was that morning. So I've set the tone for the day.
Mm,
I
mm.
know that that's my reset, that happy, calm feeling. So then I
Yeah.
know I've gone off. I need to come
Yeah, it's like a
back.
baseline, isn't it? It's like this is
It
my
is, yeah.
baseline for like balance, equilibrium, and harmony. And then anything that's outside of that is like, okay, well, I've gone off a baseline for a bit, but yeah, catching it is always a good practice as well.
Yeah, but yeah, say if you don't start the day with that intention, you're getting up, you're rushing for your train, you're throwing your clothes on.
Mm.
Your intention for that day then is stress, panic,
Yeah,
rush.
yeah, and which
So yeah, it is
continues and can
nice.
spiral, can't it? It can
Yeah,
spiral.
and it takes a couple of minutes just to stop. You don't need to do the whole breath work, the whole ritual of making cacao. Just pause,
Mm,
take a 3 breaths, and just set that intention for the day. It could be as
mm,
a couple of minutes.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Well, Andrew, it's been an absolute delight to share some time with you and explore sound and frequency and the subconscious mind and all the other things that we've explored in this video. So yeah, just appreciate you, appreciate what you're offering. And I will come check out a Gong Bath real soon. I
Yeah,
think it's
lovely.
not far
Do
from
yeah,
me.
come along to Resound. No, it's just nice to get it out there and share and just let people know that they've got all these options. So it's great what you're doing, sharing all these different modalities so people can see for themselves what it's all about and choose what resonates with them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's how we change things one step at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Best of luck then. Thanks so much, and let's be in
Thank
touch
you.
soon.
Yeah,
Cheers.
you too. Bye bye.